Greymoor Cemetery was ancient, its iron gates twisted like skeletal fingers, blackened by centuries of rain and sorrow, standing as silent sentinels at the edge of the forgotten town. Each night, the gates groaned a rusty warning to all who approached, their hinges shrieking with the weight of old secrets and unspoken fears. Locals whispered of a curse, of the white-eyed widow, a bride left at the altar whose grief turned to rage, and whose spirit now haunted the tombstones, searching endlessly for a companion in death. They said she took those who wandered too far after dusk, vanishing them without a trace, their names never spoken again, their faces fading from memory as if they had never existed at all. The gravestones leaned in, moss-covered and worn, as if sharing secrets with the wind, their inscriptions barely legible, eroded by time and sorrow, each stone a silent witness to the tragedies buried beneath. Gnarled trees clawed at the gray sky, their branches twisted and bare, and even on sunny days, a chill clung to the air, as if the sun itself dared not linger too long over Greymoor. The silence inside Greymoor was heavy, pressing in on all who entered, as if the cemetery itself was listening, waiting for the next soul to cross its threshold. Kids dared each other to touch the gates, but always ran away, their laughter echoing in the night, masking the fear that prickled at their skin and sent them fleeing before darkness could claim them. The legend grew with every retelling, and the widow waited in the shadows, her presence felt but never seen, longing for someone foolish, or perhaps brave enough to enter her domain. Tonight, as the moon rose high and the mist thickened, her wait was over. Someone had crossed the threshold, and the story of Greymoor was about to begin again.
Clara checked her camera, heart pounding. She led the team, determined to find proof.
Ramon, the skeptic, adjusted his audio gear. We'll find the truth or debunk it.
Ty, clutching his book of legends, whispered, "People have disappeared here, Clara."
That's why we're here. If the widow's real, we'll prove it.
Or it's just wind and old pipes. My gear will catch any tricks.
The air grew colder as they entered, the gate clanging shut behind them, a final metallic seal. They stood together, gear in hand, courage wavering. The silence pressed in, and each wondered, what if the legend was true? What if they weren't the hunters, but the hunted? As the sun vanished, a thick, unnatural fog rose from the earth, swallowing the path and muffling all sound. The world seemed to shrink, the edges of reality dissolving into a pale, shifting haze. Every step forward felt like moving deeper into a dream, or perhaps a nightmare, where nothing was certain and every shadow seemed to move.
Stay close. Her voice was flat in the dense air, shapes barely visible. The fog seemed to swallow her words, making them sound distant and strange, as if spoken underwater.
My compass is spinning. GPS is dead. There's no signal. Must be interference. Even the tools they trusted most were useless here, as if the fog itself was alive and determined to keep them lost.
The legends say the widow warps the cemetery, trapping you in the fog. The words hung in the air, heavy with fear and possibility, as if the fog was listening.
They tried to retrace their steps, hearts pounding, hoping for a familiar landmark to break the monotony of white. But every direction looked the same, just endless white, stretching on forever, erasing all sense of time and place. The fog pressed in, making it hard to breathe. Every sound felt like a threat. Even the crunch of gravel underfoot seemed unnaturally loud, echoing in the silence. They passed the same broken angel statue again and again, walking in circles. It was as if the cemetery itself was folding in on them, refusing to let them go. The cemetery was playing tricks, or something inside it was. Shadows flickered at the edge of their vision, and the air felt charged with secrets. They were no longer the hunters. The roles had shifted, and now they were the prey. Just 3 lost souls in a place that wanted to keep them, swallowed by the fog and the secrets it held. Suddenly, a heartbreaking sob echoed through the fog, freezing them in place, their breath catching in the cold air.
Did you hear that? The words trembled in the silence.
It's coming from over there. He pointed to a looming mausoleum, its heavy door ajar and creaking. The sobbing poured from the darkness, pulling them closer with every haunting sound.
We have to check it out. This could be our proof, finally.
My audio's spiking. This feels like a trap or something worse.
Every instinct screamed to run, but curiosity and duty drew them in step by step. They approached, each step heavier, the sobbing louder, more desperate and chilling. At the threshold, icy air and the scent of ancient regret greeted them. Something inside was waiting, unseen. Clara switched on her camera's night vision and entered the mausoleum, Ramon and Tay close behind. The sobbing was deafening, coming from a woman in a tattered wedding dress, kneeling in the corner.
Hello, are you okay?
The figure didn't respond, just wept, until Clara spoke again.
We're here to help. What's your name?
The sobbing stopped. Silence fell. The woman slowly rose, moving like a puppet. She turned, veil hiding her face, then lifted her head. Beneath the veil, only shadow, and two blazing white orbs, eyes with no life, only light. The white-eyed widow was real.
You are not him. You will not leave.
Panic erupted. Ramon shoved Clara and Tay toward the door, but the widow glided forward impossibly fast. She raised a hand. An unseen force slammed Ramon against the wall, pinning him.
Ramon!
You are not my groom.
With a flick, she sent him flying. He hit the wall, slumped, eyes empty, gone. Tay screamed and bolted into the fog. Clara chased after him, calling his name. The cemetery became a nightmare maze. Tay's voice faded, screaming about graves opening and skeletal hands. Clara stumbled, glimpsed Tay clawing at an open grave, then the widow behind him. With a final scream, Tay was dragged into the earth. The fog swallowed everything. Silence returned. Clara was alone. Clara, alone and terrified, ran blindly through the tangled darkness, her heart pounding in her chest. Branches clawed at her dress as she stumbled over uneven ground, desperate for escape. At last, she saw the iron gate looming ahead, her only hope for freedom. But as she reached for the gate, the white-eyed widow materialized before her, blocking her path. The ghostly figure's eyes glowed with an unnatural light, her dress hanging in tatters, her presence chilling the very air. Clara froze, rooted to the spot by terror. Her breath caught in her throat, unable to scream or move, as if invisible hands held her in place.
You will not leave, the ghost whispered, her voice echoing with centuries of sorrow. But your sorrow, it is strong. You know what it is to be alone now. You understand the pain that binds us.
The ghost bride reached out and touched Clara's forehead. Instantly, Arctic cold flooded her veins, and a wave of ancient grief poured into her mind, drowning her thoughts and memories in sorrow that was not her own. When the ghostly light faded, Clara found herself standing at the gate once more. But she was no longer the same. Something deep within her had shifted. She lifted her head slowly. Her eyes now glowed with a pure, brilliant white, shining in the darkness like twin lanterns. A slow, chilling smile crept across her lips, twisting her expression into something both beautiful and terrifying. The old widow's spirit was finally at peace, her portrait fading into the shadows. But the curse had found a new host in Clara. Clara, the new white-eyed widow, turned her gaze toward the distant town, her heart now cold and empty. The night was young, and her story was just beginning.
I'm coming, she whispered into the darkness. A new bride needs a new groom, and I will not be alone again.